Now, Sabina Criqui will discuss the rising number of sports-related injuries today.
Hi, I'm Sabina Criqui, and today I'm going to be talking to you about why there are more sports-related injuries today. Over the course of my life, I've been watching many sporting events on TV with my family members and friends. Over the past year or so, I have noticed that in every single National Football League or collegiate football game, one or multiple persons have gotten injured. But it's not just in football. In the average soccer and basketball games broadcasted on TV, every few games someone tended to become hurt. I have always wondered, why is it this way, and has it always been like this? But I have not actually had the will to go and do research on this topic. When I joined the club TEDx and knew I had to prepare a lengthy talk for all of you here tonight, I knew I wanted it to be on sports-related injuries. But most importantly, why are there more sports-related injuries today rather than 20 or more years ago? When I began researching this topic back in late October, I simply typed "rise in sports injuries" into the Google search box. The first 10 links that popped up were all about injuries at the youth and teen levels, as you can see in the image behind me. I have never really thought about injuries at the youth or teen level because the events where these injuries take place are never really broadcasted on TV. Yet in this age group is where the dramatic increases have taken place. I'm sure this comes to you all as a shock as well, because when we tend to think of injured athletes, we look more towards professional or collegiate athletes, since these are the athletes whom we will receive an ESPN alert for if they become injured. I too only thought I'd be focusing on injured athletes at the professional and collegiate levels, but once I started doing more research, I realized that I relate a lot more to the youth and teen injured athletes since I currently participate in youth and teen sports. As part of my research, I decided to conduct a survey questioning the student body here at Oak Knoll, asking them if they had or had not sustained a sports-related injury. 30 people took my survey, and of those 30, 25 had responded back that yes, they had sustained a sports-related injury. And of those 25, 17 had said that they had sustained not only one, but multiple sports-related injuries. So this means that more than half of the people that took my survey had sustained more than one sports-related injury in their lifetime. And keep in mind that this is at the high school and middle school level. While in the professional world, injuries vary within the sport, in the National Football League, injuries have especially risen over the past 10 to 15 years due to the want to hurt another player, bribery leading for one to hurt another player, but also new health protocols which have called for more concussion tests to take place, leading to more known concussions, while previously one may have a concussion and continue playing without even knowing. The league continues to regulate and rule new orders to help. For example, illegal blows to the head or illegal tackles could result in a fine or suspension. As you can see in the image behind me, this is an example from this past season when Odell Beckham Jr. and Joshua Norman were both rewarded with punishments for their illegal play. The league gives out fines, suspensions, and other punishments to help keep unsportsmanlike play from occurring. But in youth sports, could you really fine an 8-year-old boy? So there is no question that there has been a rise in injuries over the past 10 to 15 years. But what is the cause for this rise? Well, more children have begun participating in sports, which has then led to more competition. And more competition has ultimately led to more one-sport athletes. But isn't participating in sports great for you? I mean, Live Strong says you get to have fun, make friends, and get exercise. And while this is all great, Live Strong also says that you get to learn competitive skills. And with now nearly 30 million children participating in youth sports, this statistic has shown that with more participation, sports have become much more demanding and competitive at ages anywhere from 6 to 12. And while the level of competition and competitiveness does play a toll in these many injuries, as sports become more competitive, more children or their parents choose for them to play one sport all year round and focus entirely in on that one sport. This way they can become incredible at this sport and have an advantage over others who are playing multiple sports. I'm sure many of you in the audience have heard of teams such as BBL, Steps, New Heights, or TSF. These are all sports club teams that people play on all year round. Now, how many of you know someone that currently or previously has played for one of these teams? A lot of you. So I'm sure you know how demanding and time-consuming it is to play on one of these teams. And it does make it more difficult for one to play multiple sports. But playing a sport all year round is not only time-consuming in the sense of trying to get work done, it also becomes more demanding on the body. If you are only playing one sport, then you are only utilizing the bones and muscles needed to succeed in that sport, and you're overusing them. While playing multiple sports may have some drawbacks too, if you're playing multiple sports, you're using many areas of the body, strengthening many parts of the body, opposed to just overusing a few. I'm sure, but maybe these parents are thinking the wrong way, since Urban Meyer, a collegiate football coach for The Ohio State University, has recruited 42 multi-sport athletes in high school, opposed to just 5 football-only athletes in high school over the past year or so. I'm sure many of you in the audience have heard of a tragic story about how one girl is getting recruited to play D1 lacrosse, for example, and then suffers a torn ACL. And then all of those teams that were looking to sign her back out because they fear she may never be able to play lacrosse as well as she previously had. And the hard thing to think about is that this injury could have been prevented. Let's say that girl had not only been playing lacrosse, but had been playing multiple sports. Maybe she wouldn't have been overusing her ACL in that sense. But let's look at other ways to prevent sports-related injuries from occurring. 1. Teach proper techniques from the start, such as the proper tackle form and the proper way to land. 2. Play multiple sports. For one, I can say that I've played multiple sports since I was in about preschool or kindergarten, and I've never suffered of anything worse than a jammed finger in basketball. While this may just be luck, maybe it's the fact that I've been strengthening multiple parts of the body since a very young age. 3. Know your body. If something hurts, try not to keep playing on it because you could worsen the injury. And 4. Spread awareness and knowledge on sports-related injuries to help prevent them from occurring. So after preparing this talk for all of you, I want to leave you thinking about this question. In this day and age, are coaches and parents providing their children with false information leading to career-ending or life-changing sports-related injuries? Thank you.
Thank you, Sabina.